Hello, everyone. Welcome to the discussion of the new topic bioethics. So, ethics is a common term that is used, and it refers to or it comes from a Greek word which is called as ethika, and its meaning is character or a custom. And bioethics or ethics is considered to be a branch of philosophy, and it is considered to be a normative science. And ethics or bioethics actually deals with, or it says, how humans should behave in a particular situation. So such a concept which is called as bioethics was developed by, or the concept was introduced by an American a cancer researcher, Van Potter. And uh, and it was in late 1970s. He was interested in the matters of environment and thought that because of overpopulation and environmental degradation, it may pose to the ecological system. Because humans do not consider or didn't have any concern or any moral towards the fellow animals. Uh, Overpopulation of humans, which result in habitat loss of others, environmental degradation, etc. And he believed that if this particular condition of overpopulation and environmental exploitation was going on, this will soon lead to the perishing of the human civilization. And to avoid this, or avoid this crisis of human peril, he suggested there needs an introduction of or evolution of an interdisciplinary approach and construct. And it should have, or it should be where wisdom should be an indicator of human action, and this wisdom in human action is termed as bioethics. Wisdom or knowledge is an indicator of human action, and this is called as bioethics. And actually, the term bioethics refers to, uh, or it can be collectively or comprehensively called as something where uh, we are framing certain principles or certain, you can call it as laws or rules, whereby humans are said to behave in such a way. If such laws or rules were not being enforced upon humans, this particular person, that is Van Potter, he believed that this will always lead to overpopulation of humans, and overpopulation of humans will always lead to environmental degradation, and that will lead to the end of humans. So to avoid that, and also not only to conserve humans but also to conserve the environment and the other animals or co-animals which exist or coexist with us, to conserve them, to preserve them, to have a compassion towards them, etc. This particular branch was introduced, and that is what is called as bioethics. So it is also called as a science of survival to overcome the extinction of the environment, of the earth, and also to protect humans. So everything comes under that. When you protect the environment, the co-animals, the climate, etc., all are preserved, and that also lead to protection of humans. And the areas which is covered under bioethics include the biomedical ethics, which is a general term, and that is synonymous to bioethics. Then you have the medical ethics, which is related to practice of medicine. There is ethics in practice of medicine. One example of the medical ethics is that whenever you are having, I'm just going with an example. Whenever you are having a surgery or any operative procedure in your body, either if you are capable of or the patient as well as the bystander of the patient need to sign a consent. Okay, So that consent was not there before. That is, before this medical ethics was introduced, such a concept was not there. So that particular consent guarantees that the patient and the bystander is aware that what is the procedure that is going to be conducted on the patient. So that is an example of what is called what of medical ethics. So that is also an ethics, because the particular medical person is saying you, this is what I am going to do on you. Otherwise the person is not aware what is going to do, what is going to operate in you, etc. So that is a part of a conduct where or an ethics which is called as a medical ethics. Next is clinical ethics. It is specific ethical issues which is related to the hospital, then clinical content context. This also can overlap with medical ethics. Usually medical and clinical ethics, they overlap at a certain point, so both can be treated to be as the same. Next is research ethics. This is ethical issues in human and animal research. We'll be discussing about this in great detail with result to animals in experiments, the laws, the rules, etc., which is there to protect and to minimize this animal experiment, human trials, etc. Next is healthcare ethics. So this includes all the three: medical, clinical, as well as the healthcare ethics. Biotech ethics or gene ethics. This specifies, or this specific focus on genetics and biotech issues, which is not necessarily related to hospitals. So this is usually related to gene manipulations, what you call it as a new variety of plant which is resistant. You can uh, the which is related to gene ethics and bioethics. Next is public health ethics, which this also goes in hands with clinical as well as the medical ethics. Next one is the neuroethics, ethics in pharma, then psychotherapy, brain imaging, etc. comes under neuroethics. Administrative ethics, which is ethics in hospitals and healthcare systems, system functioning. Part of bioethics, which is also can be considered to be coming under clinical as well as the medical ethics. Next is professional ethics, another ethics applied, which is focused on bioethics contents, or any profession which is related to any profession. Ethics comes under this particular one. So these are some of the different categories, or you can call it as this. It is a diverse set of research areas which is coming under bioethics. So the concept of bioethics is also addressed in a spectrum of matters of public interest. You might have come across in newspapers, news, etc., like abortion, then euthanasia, organ donation, etc. All these are addressed under the head which is called as bioethics. The same thing, the ethics, if you come to the ethics in it, abortion means the bioethics in abortion is that because many are against this particular concept of what is called as an abortion, but ethically what is correct and what is not. So the people are debating at different standpoints, because this particular matter of abortion is just killing or taking in one phase it can be considered to be taking or taking life. In another aspect, it can be, if you treat it in a, or if you are viewing it in a medical manner, this can be considered. So if a particular woman has been conceived uh, a fetus which is having, or which is detected to be having some abnormality which cannot be rectified, whatever it may be, whatever type of uh, uh, disability it may be, if it was found prior, that if the doctor could detect it prior to the critical months, that if if the couple intends, or if the couple is not willing to have such a baby, that can be considered to be for an abortion. So that is another standpoint. So these are the two views. And in such cases where there can be different viewpoints to a particular thing, the same thing with euthanasia. Euthanasia means it is uh, providing, or you are giving sanction for death for a person uh, who cannot, or who is not having the capacity to stand alone, or not having the capacity to live a long life, which is another term for euthanasia is mercy killing. So that also with humans as well as with animals in both cases. So in that too there is a difference of opinion, or there are many judgments in favor of euthanasia. Euthanasia has to be considered with it cannot be considered for every individual who goes and says I need euthanasia, but there are several considerations, and these considerations for whom euthanasia can be sanctioned, for not who cannot be sanctioned, etc. Those guidelines are set or set under this particular principle, which is called as bioethics. So that is the same thing with organ donation. Organ donation also that requires or it has many ethical issues in it. You might have heard many news regarding this organ mafia, etc. So all those things, or all those, they are working against this particular thing which is called as bioethics. So for organ donation itself there are many set rules for who can donate the organs, etc. It is not that somebody who is in a depth of a loan can go and donate an organ, etc. So such things are happening in the society now, but that is not ethical. So those hospitals which follow these rules, they do not consider such persons where you are going for such donations or such things for money. So such things where all these issues are being addressed, which is of public interest, like euthanasia, organ donation, etc. All these comes under the umbrella which is called as bioethics. All these are considered under this umbrella which is called as bioethics. So there are different ways to describe bioethics. So Maser 1998 described bioethics, or he has three ways to view this bioethics. One is descriptive bioethics, which says the way in which people view their life. Then prescriptive bioethics, from the word itself, it is telling others what is ethically good and what is ethically bad. That means you can do only good, you should avoid bad. Next is interactive bioethics. It is a discussion and debate about the descriptive bioethics as well as prescriptive bioethics. At the 33rd General Conference of the UNESCO, it adopted a universal declaration on bioethics and human rights. And this addresses, and this was in 19 October 2005, which was the 33rd session of the General Conference, adopted the Universal Declaration of Bioethics and Human Right. It addresses the ethical issues related to medicine, life science, and associated technologies applied to human beings. It also takes into account their social, legal, and environmental dimensions. And this particular Universal Declaration, it has 27 articles relating to various aspects of bioethics and human rights, and it provides guidelines and recommendations on how to implement the declaration by various stakeholders. So this was considered a landmark declaration and initiated active discussion on various aspects of bioethics, animal rights, and experiments on human and animal subjects. So with this, we are moving on to the topic which is called as bioethics. So this particular declaration by UNESCO in 2005, and it is because of this important declaration, such topics were introduced in the curriculum. Previously, such things like bioethics, human rights, etc., that was not included in the normal curriculum for an arts and science course or an engineering course, etc. Such things were not included. But after this declaration and after different countries adopted this declaration, they because it is it this particular declaration states that how it should be transferred to the stakeholders. So stakeholders also include students, which is the next generation. So and that is why this was included in every curriculum by UGC. It was in I think it is in 2015 or 16 UGC regulations came where every student who is pursuing a degree or a UG or undergraduate program need to study environmental biology, bioethics, and human rights. That's why every student, even it is for an art student, for a science student, engineering student, etc., somewhere in their curriculum, this particular topics are included because this they should be aware, because an art student in a former case, they are not aware of the environmental issues, not aware in the sense uh, from their curriculum they do not have because they get their news from the or they, if they are interested, they read the news articles, then debates in the news, etc. Apart from that, an academic knowledge in that particular subject was lacking. And that is why, because of this particular declaration, our country also decided, and also the higher education department or the UGC also decided to include all these three topics, that is environmental laws or environmental biology, human rights, and bioethics in every curriculum. Okay, so and for a biology student, this particular one, because environmental biology you have a separate paper, that's why that is not included in this particular area. And for you, bioethics and human rights, you have a separate portion, human rights. And in bioethics we will be mainly dealing with the different types of laws which is related to animal laws in India. And because there was a because as you might know, many animals were harmed on the basis of many procedures, like animal experiments might be there. Then there was an there was no regulation in slaughterhouses, how many animals were killed, whether disease animals were killed and sold, etc. So all those came under a rule or a regulation by this particular system, which was adopted by many countries before this 2005 regulation. Many countries, including India, has adopted animal laws even before. I think 1960s or so, India has adopted animal right laws, etc., which prevents the transport of animals, then public uh, shows with animals, etc. So we'll come to one by one uh, of these laws. So these are the different laws and rights that we are going to discuss. Animal right laws in India, then the Indian Penal Code, which is related to this animal laws, then Wildlife Protection Act, then Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act, experiments on animals control and supervision, transport of animals, then prevention of cruelty to animals, which is related to slaughterhouses, then performing animals rules, breeding and experiments on animals, then Biodiversity Act 2002 and Biological Diversity Rules 2004, and that is followed by the CPCSEA. So these are the things which we are going to discuss under this. After this, we'll have what is called as the animal or sorry human rights, then the consent, uh, and informed consent, etc. So all those will be discussed. So we are going to see this in two sections. In this particular session, we are going to see the different laws, which is mostly related to the animals. After that, we'll be seeing, or we will be going through human rights. In human rights, we'll be discussing on informed contents and also the Right to Information Act of 2005. Okay, so we'll start this discussion in the next session. Thanks for hearing.